Yo, welcome back to the Nerds with Glasses podcast, your number one gaming podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Knowledge.
And I'm Javi, guys. What's up? This is our first start, the start of our live
podcast.
Video podcast.
Video podcast. Now we have a camera so you can see how fat I am and you can see his beautiful hair.
My beautiful hair, yes, my mane that I don't take care of.
The lion mane and my what would mine be? Like non-mane?
You're like a baboon. Not a baboon.
A baboon's ass?
Yeah, no. What was I remember there was a monkey in a movie. I think it was an orangutan that, like, just for some reason had a bald head.
Yeah.
Just like that. Boom.
You already hurt me enough. Just stop. Just stop, please. We're gonna start live streaming the podcast starting next week. We wanted to do it this week, but we had some technical issues. But we
were too busy during the week to test anything out.
Yeah, and then Floyd Mayweather had the most boring fight yesterday, which I watched.
I don't know why you did, but okay.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk about that briefly later.
Okay.
But anyways, this week, the news of this week that we liked.
Yeah, of course. Something very interesting happened on ESPN not too long ago this week.
This past Sunday.
Past Sunday, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it was basically they started they were showing, because you don't call it streaming when it's on TV.
Yeah, it's on
They were streaming it, but
it was on live. They were broadcasting it over live
That's
television.
how weird it is. Like, I'm still calling it streaming.
You're such a nerd that you just like streaming is the automatic word.
So they were streaming Heroes of the
Storm.
The name of the thing was pretty funny. It was Heroes of the Dorm, which was a collegiate Heroes of the Storm, which is a tournament, Blizzard game.
Yeah.
Very MOBA style.
Yeah, and they don't want to call it a MOBA. They said they wanted to call it like a hero brawler.
Right.
But I mean, I think anybody who watches it will call it a MOBA.
It looks. I mean, if you look at it, it looks very similar. Like even just the top-down view and the way some of the gameplay looks.
Yeah.
It looks very much like you can compare it to League of Legends. And Dota, which was what most people compare it to.
Yeah.
But anyways, that wasn't the main story. That it's not that Blizzard came out with a MOBA that's not a MOBA.
Yeah.
It's that it was shown on ESPN2.
And this is the first time this has happened on ESPN. I mean, there's been Esports broadcasts before. They used to have like MLG, Halo.
Right, when Halo was big.
Yeah, they had it on USA. But that wasn't even a live show in itself. They would pre-record that, and make like a highlight show almost of the best moments.
Yeah, of course.
So they had this tournament going on, and they actually broadcast it live. And of course, the next day there is a big backlash from kind of traditional media and just people who are not really into the internet vibe, that they're just kind of still traditional, watching TV, channel surfing, and they're like, what the fuck is like, what are these nerds doing?
Fill me in a little bit. I don't watch too much ESPN. I know it's a lot of sports. I don't have the channel, first of all.
Yeah.
I would watch it because there is some sports I do like watching.
Yeah.
What is this ESPN2 broadcast?
Well, like ESPN2 is a sacred place of sports.
Really? Okay.
We have the National Spelling Bee, which is the most elite competition. Annually. Okay. They have the hot dog eating contest. Okay. That's really sacred. Obviously, competitive gaming is nowhere near.
No, it's not. It's
nowhere
not
near that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and like we call it esports because that's what everybody else calls it.
That's what it calls itself, pretty much.
Yeah, like I mean, if it were me, I would call it competitive gaming. I wouldn't call it CG. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think that's the main thing that throws people off, which we've actually talked about that before.
Yeah, we talked about it when I think it was Dota had the 2 million. Was it a 2 million or 1 million watcher?
Yeah, they had like over 1 million people watching
the live stream.
What is it consecutively?
No, it's not consecutively.
Yeah. What's the word, dude?
I can't remember, but there was a shitload of people watching. That's what they wanted us to
concurrently watching.
Yes, thank you.
I wasn't even hearing what you were talking about. I was just like, what is the word?
I was trying to get past it, but yeah. So we talked about it then. How should it define itself as esports? Should it try to go into this kind of like, because they do the commentary. A lot of it is trying to be kind of like traditional sports broadcast.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, you have the announcers are getting hyped. You have the crowd going crazy. You have great plays going on. I mean, in very
great plays in context.
In context,
because if you watch just something, you won't get it. Just like in a sport, if you just watch the touchdown, you're like,
yeah,
you have to see the build up a lot of the times.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these criticisms are from people it's kind of like when your father gets older, and you know, when you ask him when he used to walk to school, it was 10 miles in the snow, and it was, you know, like as they get older, things were back in the day. In my day, this is how it was, and it has a feel like that where people just don't get it right now. They don't understand it because they've outgrown. I don't know. They could just like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Okay, so they've their openness is gone.
Yeah, they're just closed off because for them, everything that happened in their generation, in their time, everything that they did was better. And you know, you hear it all the time where people say like, "Oh, hip hop is dead." And they've been, the thing about that is that people have been saying that for the last 25 years. Since when Tupac came out, people were talking like, "Oh man, back when Run DMC, that's what it was all about. Like Tupac's a little bitch."
It's just that people don't like change.
Yeah, exactly. People can't adapt to the times, and it happens to all of us. I mean, some people are more open than others, but
eventually you hit that like critical openness where it just suddenly just closes in on itself.
Yeah, and that happens to me a lot. Where I'm like, man, these damn kids are so crazy nowadays, you know. And you know what the funniest one to me is when people go to high school. And when they're in 9th grade, they're like fucking running to lunch line, doing all this crazy shit, and like they're little people. Then they get to 12th grade, and they're like, man, when I was in 9th, we weren't that small. Yeah. Like, you know, like they were.
No, you know, it's funny because when you say that, it was the opposite effect for me. We're like, why are we so short? And then we see the freshmen, we're like, what the hell? Yeah, like they're like 12 feet high, and it's like,
yeah,
what happened?
These guys are huge.
Yeah, sometimes it happens like every couple generations.
Yeah, maybe it flips.
So yeah, it's that whole, sometimes it's flipped, but everyone has that, they see the change.
Yeah.
Or they notice some kind of change that isn't really there.
Yeah. And so the thing about this Heroes of the Storm stuff, which is, and you know, the crazy thing is only Blizzard could do this because this game's not even out yet.
It's still, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I think the closed beta actually ended.
Yeah.
It's coming into open beta May 19th.
May 19th, and it should be released June 2nd or 3rd.
Was it June or July? Right.
No, it's June. Yeah, it's June. And so, like, Blizzard put on this tournament for colleges. I think the final was Arizona versus Berkeley versus Cal, and Berkeley won. And they actually won tuition for 4 years each player. You know, that's a crazy.
How many players are there? Was it
5? It was 5-on-5. So, I mean, that's a big deal. And I think that the main thing about the story that I thought it was funny was that people were talking about it on Twitter the next day because there's this sports broadcaster who's on sports radio all the time. He's really famous in the sports broadcasting world. It's Colin Cowherd.
Okay.
And that day he just ripped through him. He's like, ESPN2 was broadcasting the nerdiest basement dweller. Like, I know I'm exaggerating, but at the same time, he was really he was ripping into it. And he's like, if you guys really hate me and you want me to quit, well, force my bosses to make me cover esports and I'll quit the next day. If I ever have to cover dudes playing games, I'll quit the next day. And I can understand his perspective from like an old school, like, what the fuck, these kids are, playing video games. But at the same time, it's just like,
people still haven't realized how much, I guess, kind of just how, like, I wonder, like, when sports weren't professional. Yeah. Like, how many people were like, man, look at these kids just playing these sports. Yeah. They're not going to do anything with their lives.
Yeah, dude. Like, basketball, to me, I'm a big basketball fan, and I know a lot of the history. In the early 1940s and 50s, it was those guys who were playing basketball then, like, they literally had to get summer jobs just because, like, because they were making enough money.
The guys on the bench went to the stands, sold hot.
Yeah, like, dude, they had to do everything to stay alive. No, and that's the thing is, like, you think about it now, and they're making multi-millions. The last guy on the bench makes $1 million or $800,000.
Insane amount of money.
Yeah, and like, you think about it now, and it just seems like it was always meant to happen. It's manifest destiny that it was going to happen, that these sports were going to become professional, but it wasn't like that back then. They were struggling, just like a lot of the sport, like esports pros struggle now. They have to fucking grind, and there's only a chosen few who really can make a living off of it.
And most of them don't make the living necessarily off playing.
Yeah.
They make it, you know, whether it's their merchandise,
promotion,
their YouTube money that they get, their revenue.
Live streaming.
Live streaming is a big part of it.
Yeah. So it definitely, yeah, exactly. It's not even near anywhere where it can actually be a professional thing where just any player can make
a
living.
I'm trying to think like let's take, for example, like maybe not the super popular, but let's take something like COD. Like, it's popular, but money wise it's not the most, you know.
Yeah, it's probably the least.
Yeah, one of the least of the big names.
Yeah.
If you were to take all the tournament winnings from one year, I think the guy on the bench would still be making more money than if one person was making all that money.
Dude, absolutely. Like, not even a question. Yeah, because I think in a year you can win if you won every single tournament.
If you won every single tournament
by
yourself
place.
somehow.
If you won with your team every single tournament in COD, you probably make almost like $200,000. Not even that. I mean, maybe that. Like, for sure, 150,000, let's say. And that the last guy on the bench on a basketball team makes 750,000 easy. Like the guy who's like number 15 and never plays, is just at practice helping the guys out. You know, like, so it's nowhere near being a professional sport or an esport or whatever. But the point is, that's how all the other sports were too, and people forget that. People think that it was always like that, and it wasn't.
Now,
you know?
a lot of them, you know, like I said, that's COD. But a lot of the other ones, they do make a shitload of money.
Yeah, they make a lot more money. Yeah.
But I mean, it definitely, like, to me, we talked about it before. The competitive gaming needs to kind of like I don't know if ESPN is its home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's where it should be. I mean, maybe it should stick to Twitch and, you know,
yeah.
But if it were to move to TV, it kind of like, I think that's the problem, that like, why would you put something like that on a place where most of those people wouldn't look for that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the wrong demographic.
Exactly. You wouldn't go to TV to look for a game. Like, I don't even know any more gaming like networks. Like, the only one I ever knew of was G4,
and they disappeared off the earth.
Yeah, everything's online now. Like they couldn't. People didn't think they can cut it being on TV, so they got rid of them. And now they're trying to make a surge back into it, and I think they need to like kind of make their own network. Maybe I don't know. Something has to be done for it to work.
Yeah, and I just think TV is not the answer. And you know what? I applaud ESPN for giving it a try.
Yeah, I actually. I saw someone else talking about it. They said it didn't do amazing in the ratings.
Yeah.
It did pretty low, but they weren't expecting it to do super well.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, you know, whatever this rating was very average.
Yeah.
They're like, we're happy with that. ESPN was happy with the ratings they got.
I mean, it's not like they were promoting it for a month, but it seemed like it was just one of those things where it happened last minute. It's like, hey, we're having this tournament. Do you want to broadcast it? I don't see why not.
Like, we need to fill a time slot. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to me, it's just the wrong demographic. You're not gonna get a lot of new fans. You might get a couple like that who watch ESPN2 or channel surfing, and they're like, oh shit, people are playing games for money and on our TV.
And understand the game, because that's the next thing. There's so many different video games that like I can watch a bunch of different fighting games.
Yeah.
But put me into a real time strategy thing, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and me too. Like, cause I don't play MOBAs at all, so I have no idea what's going on. The only time it's interesting to me is when there's a lot of money on the line, and it's just a pure drama of people playing just for money. Yeah.
Just like boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of money. It's very, very interesting.
It's just interesting because there's fucking hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, and they
promote it very well. I mean, a lot of the sports, like, you know, League of Legends, StarCraft, they promote to them, like, to the people they want to promote, like, very well.
Yeah.
They fill stadiums, granted not huge, gigantic stadiums, but they're pretty, like...
Yeah, no, they're big. Yeah, it's a stadium's a
stadium.
Stadium's
a stadium, right, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, and they do fill it, they do get people to watch. It is something that people want to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely there. The audience is there. It's just
And I think that's the crazy. That's kind of like the flaw about professional competitive gaming, that there's so many different kinds that not everyone's gonna like. That everyone's trying to put it all together in one category.
Yeah.
Which is why it kind of like splits very often.
Yeah, but in the same token, there's a lot of sports.
Yeah.
In North America alone, you have 4 major sports: basketball, baseball, hockey, and of course football, which is the number 1. Of course, you have the global sport, which is soccer, which is probably the 5th sport in the country. But you know, you have other countries: cricket, rugby.
Cricket's insane. I saw a game. I just, for some reason, I was like, God damn.
Yeah, cricket games take like days apparently.
Yeah, they take days, but like I think it wasn't actually the whole game, but it was just highlights.
Yeah,
like you said, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see a new sport like that, dude. And golf, tennis. I didn't even think like there is a lot of sports, and there's different fan bases that support them. So I think there can be like 8 games, and that's probably what we have. I mean, we have League of Legends, StarCraft, Dota.
Well, we can even put it into categories, you know, like MOBA, shooters, fighting games. You can't really do like arcades too much. That's more of a that's like speed run stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, that's different.
And high scores.
Yeah.
Like it'd be awesome if like something like, you know, what was it, King of Kong?
Yeah.
Like that can't really be competitive. It is super competitive, but not in the
It can't be a spectator sport.
Yeah, exactly. It can't be a spectator, which I wouldn't mind watching it, but I wouldn't be there the whole time.
Hell no. I'm not watching 8 hours of a score run. No, I don't. No, that's not interesting.
Right. But I'm saying, but it is interesting to. I mean, there's an audience there, not a huge audience, but there's so many we'll just split into those categories.
Yeah, and it is true though, because like shooters for example, like I can watch CS:GO and enjoy it because I like watching COD competitively, and I can watch. I love Halo competitively.
I can watch Quake. I can watch some of the older games we get played.
Yeah, it's true.
Like the ones that are competitive, not just single player.
But yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that they're just gonna have to stay the course. If for some reason it works on ESPN, great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. But what they're doing now, live streaming, is continuing to grow. Just stay the course. It's gonna take a couple more years.
Just look at how big Twitch has been getting.
Yeah. They got bought for almost $1 billion.
Right.
You know, like obviously there's something there.
There's something there. That is, you know, where it should be.
Yeah. Speaking of things that do things right, worst transition ever. Dragon Ball, is making a new
Dragon Ball Super.
I like that name, by the way.
I'm whatever on it. I don't know. I don't like. I just like.
Shut up, Javi.
They're just adding super to the end of it, you know. Granted, the other one was literally just one letter.
Super Saiyan, bro.
Okay.
Well, anyways, it's been 18 years since Dragon Ball GT was on air.
It was yes. So it's been 18 years since the last whenever GT came out.
Yeah, the last show.
Which I didn't get a chance to ever get into GT.
I saw all of Dragon Ball. I saw all of Dragon Ball Z.
Me too.
And then I don't know, something about GT just wasn't clicking.
Like I don't know. For me, it wasn't like. Because unfortunately for me, when I was younger, I didn't really get to watch what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was more of like whatever I could watch, like whatever was on my channels, I was able to watch.
Yeah.
So I was stuck to the basic channels, channel 5 and channel 11 for weekdays, and then
that's here in LA. People are like channel 5.
I'm sorry. Yes. So KTLA, and they're like Pokemon and all that.
Yeah.
And then Fox,
WB,
WB, and then Fox with Power Rangers and all those.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Sonic at one point, like the old school Sonic was there.
Yeah, that was a good show too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
GT, you
never got into.
I never got into. I never had the channels.
Yeah, it was okay. Like I saw snippets. I don't know if it was the animation. The animation was clean, but
it was clean. It was clean. I mean, I think it was still the same. I mean, it was the same people or whatever. But I think the main difference was it wasn't Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I don't think he was involved with it as he was with the other two.
With the other two, and that's the thing about this one that's different is the fact that he's writing this. And he's the original creator of the show.
Right. Was he right? Okay,
or the comic books, or the original writer of the...
Yeah, and I think a lot of his art
manga.
style, too.
Yeah, exactly. And, just having him involved, I think will change.
Right.
Unless, the thing is, I wonder what his motivation is. Like, does he feel like it's an untold story, or is this a cash grab?
Right. So what we know, the details from what we know, it's after the Majin Buu saga.
Yeah.
And before GT.
And it's not even clear yet if they're gonna pretend like GT never happened.
Right.
You know. Right.
They might kind of like stray away from it, which I read that the movies have done, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But the recent movies have kind of like
just pretended like it never
just strayed away from that whole GT.
Yeah, and I mean I don't. That's happened before at other mediums. I always laugh at the recent example was X-Men, because it was what's the name of the director of X-Men? It's not Brett Ratner.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot. Man, I can't remember his name right now, but he directed X1 and X2.
Not Zack Snyder, right?
Huh?
Not Zack Snyder. I don't
know.
No.
He did.
That's Man of Steel, right?
He's Man of Steel. The guy directed Superman Returns.
Can't remember the name.
He was like, I can't. This is gonna kill me.
Yeah. Like,
anyways,
I'm just like off the top of my head.
Every time when somebody asks you like on the spot,
it's gone.
Yeah. Tomorrow you'll be like.
In the middle of my sleep, I'm having a horrible nightmare that I'm getting killed because I don't know this question.
It's fucking blah blah blah. Like, anyways, he did X1 and X2, and then he was offered to do Superman Returns, right? So he really wanted to do Superman, so he chose not to do X3, but they got him back for Days of Future Past, and
was it First Class also?
I believe so.
Okay.
So with Days of Future Past, he literally erased, and like people say like, oh no, that was just how the story was going, but other people were like, yeah, he hated X3,
got rid of
because X3 was terrible,
right?
Absolutely atrocious movie.
Yeah, I think that movie literally ruined the whole series for me because I don't remember the other. I haven't watched the other two in so long.
Yeah.
That when I saw that one, I was like, were they all this bad?
Yeah. No. Yeah, dude. No, because X2 was really good. X-Men 1 doesn't hold up.
Okay.
It was probably it was the first super like comic book movie of that era, like when they started doing them again, because then after that it was Spider-Man, and then there was a whole opened the floodgates. Yeah, it had a resurgence, because back in the 80s they used to make like cheesy ones that you've never even seen, like TV Hulk, terrible Spider-Man movies. I'm gonna show you guys a clip as you're watching this of the worst Spider-Man movie you've ever seen. Okay. Like, it's like the dumbest thing you've ever seen. Like, just you see the special effects as they're special effects. Like,
what else could they do? There was such a huge no one knew about special effects really.
Well, it was after Star Wars was made, so they should have known some shit.
Yeah, but he kind of like opened the floodgates.
Yeah. But point is, that's a funny example when they do that, when the creators just kind of erase what happened before. They're like, this shit's garbage. We're taking this out. They brought
back Redhead Jean. That was
man.
And Scott, when Scott, I was laughing so hard in the theater when if you haven't seen it, sorry, Days of Future Past. But when Wolverine went to Jean and was like, and then he's like, Scott.
And he's like, hey, bro,
what's up?
Get the fuck off my girl. She looks so hot, dude. Yes. She is so hot. But yeah, I mean, if I would put my money down and bet something, I would say that they're just going to do away with GT, because if they're going to... I haven't
seen it.
I'm just saying, like, the thing is...
because he wasn't involved kind of thing?
He wasn't involved. And universally, people say it's not that good. I seen snippets of it, and there's just something about it that it didn't capture people. And it's obvious because they canceled it after like 60 episodes or something, or less than that. And the other ones they're just so good. My question is, do you think that Dragon Ball is gonna work in this generation? Do kids still love Dragon Ball? Is it gonna be a big hit like it was? Because in the 90s, Dragon Ball was just... It was
Dragon Ball and Gundam. That's what anime-wise?
Yeah.
Like, those are the animes I remember, like...
And then for the littler kids, like Pokemon, even though everybody else watched Pokemon, like, low-key, didn't want to tell anybody.
No, everyone wasn't low-key until later in their lives, you know? Like, so all the older kids collected all the Pokemon cards and everything until, like, Season 3, and they're like, what? I never watched it.
I don't know. Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think they're gonna recapture people's imaginations with this new show?
I mean, because it's kind of like taken already like such a like unless the kid has already seen Dragon Ball, I don't know how many new people it's gonna get. You know?
Yeah.
Like I still think would be a really good show.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so many animes now. You know, that are Flash. They're just like different styles for everyone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people, especially like older fans, who might come back to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know about newer fans because there's something else for them already. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how big it's gonna be, just because like I think the success of Dragon Ball with boys, as young boys especially, is that it has everything that young boys like to do. Like, everybody likes to get stronger, let's say. So part of the whole show, it's always like Goku is developing his skills and getting better and better and powering up.
And then you learn that as more as you get beat up, the better stronger he gets.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on that you thought of it, but you didn't really.
Yeah, like you weren't thinking about it then, but like I look back at it now, and it's just so many lessons about, like, for example, in every Dragon Ball show, when they're fighting somebody, they get super fucking cocky. They're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking just kill you in one blow, like, you know. And every time they get cocky and overconfident, they lose, you know. And I feel like that always hammers home that lesson to you.
Yeah, because Goku was always the one that was like, I don't know if I could beat you. Like,
yeah.
I just want to fight you.
You're
the strongest person here. I mean.
Yeah, but even and then when Goku would get overconfident, the same thing would happen. He's just like, oh no, what have I done?
And then Gohan is like, I can't do it, and then he does it.
It is the same thing happened to him with the Cell Saga, where he went Super Saiyan 2 or Ascendant Saiyan, and then like he gets cocky and he doesn't kill Cell right away, and then he ends up killing Goku, or Goku sacrifices himself to save Gohan, and then Gohan's like, no, what the fuck, you know. And that's what happens. But I just think there's these little things that are built into Dragon Ball that make it timeless. Like these lessons that go on. Like the main thing too for me was that they attached a number to your power level.
Right.
So it's not.
And they got rid of that completely. And then they're like, oh, that doesn't matter anymore because everyone.
Well, because the power got so out of control.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it was still kind of like then Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and that one.
And then Super Saiyan God apparently.
Yeah, the God Super Saiyan, yeah, God Saiyan.
Yeah, but I was
Saiyan God. Sorry.
So just curious. No, it's Super Saiyan God, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I saw that. I saw.
Hey, whoa, bro! I'm just.
Do you know how to become Super Saiyan? Super Saiyan God?
Ah!
No. You have to get 4 other Saiyans to lend you their power into one being.
Okay.
That's how you become Super Saiyan God.
So it's like 4 Saiyans are one God?
Kind of. Their energy is transferred into one.
But it's still just you, though.
Yes, but Goku then loses that and is still as powerful as he was.
So Goku gets, I'm guessing, Trunks, Vegeta, Gohan, and I don't know who else. Well, I
don't want to spoil that for you because you need to, so you can watch the show because I got spoiled already.
Okay.
Who it is?
Okay.
Because it needs to be 4, not including the person, because there are 4.
One of the 2 kids it has to be the younger one. No, okay, whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways.
But just a final question: did you like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball more?
I like Dragon Ball Z. I mean, the thing is,
I love fucking Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball is funnier and has a lighter tone, which I like, which I do like about it. But Dragon Ball Z was just more epic.
Yeah, and it was a lot longer.
Yeah, but you know what the thing was too is, to me I call this the Matrix Reloaded effect. I have a lot of these little theories that I throw out there, but
never heard this one.
Okay, so
we're in for a treat.
All right, so if you've seen The Matrix, it's like a self-contained movie. If you watch The Matrix, after you watch it, you would think that Morpheus is like the most powerful person in the world, and that's it. Like that and then Neo becomes the most powerful person. But like it's only like these set of characters, and you don't understand anything outside that universe or whatever. And in Dragon Ball, you have that feeling where like Piccolo is the final boss,
right?
And
King Piccolo,
and that's fucking the ultimate thing you can do, and you can't go any higher. And then in Matrix Reloaded, all of a sudden there's a fucking army of shit. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, there's 10,000 Agent Smiths, you know, and it just explodes and it becomes more epic, and it's fun and good action, but it does kind of ruin the experience of the first part of it to me. Okay. Because like in the part one, the weight of what's happening is because Agent Smith is the ultimate enemy, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You don't really understand what's beyond that. Yeah. And then that's what happened in Dragon Ball Z. That's what I don't like about it, where it's like
the Red Ribbon Army is nothing.
Yeah, like
it was nothing literally.
It's just like everything becomes less and less. Piccolo is just like a bitch now. You know, well, I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm saying.
You said it's out there.
No, don't quote me. And then same thing. Every enemy just becomes like, oh well, fucking.
This is my final form.
Yeah, it's just it becomes at first it's like Cell, and then Majin Buu's last, and
then Kid Buu,
and then Frieza before Cell. You know, like so, and then Kid Buu. Yeah, right. Majin Buu, and then Kid Buu, and then so it's like. Every enemy just becomes like irrelevant now,
right?
You know?
And I guess that's what I didn't. I mean, like I said, I love Dragon Ball Z, but I didn't like. I just like. I think I remember in Dragon Ball when he was going through the tower, he had to defeat everyone, and it didn't feel like it took away from the other enemy. Yeah, he was just finally getting past it. Yeah. Whereas in Dragon Ball Z, it's like here we're throwing something else that's stronger at you.
Yeah, it's even stronger, and it definitely seems like that's what they're going for with Dragon Ball Super, because they even said that it was just like you might see somebody stronger than even Majin Buu or Kid Buu, you know. So
which
it was like
he's supposedly the most, besides Goku, obviously, is the most powerful.
No, and then in GT it was the same thing.
They had Baby, I think.
I don't know the name.
I don't know the name, but I remember.
Tell me the name in the comments.
I remember a lot of the enemies looked like Buu for some reason. Like from what I saw, there was a lot of like enemies, and I know Goku was little.
Yeah. Again. Yeah, I don't know how that, because I didn't watch, so I don't know how that happened. So I haven't. Maybe I think he got like a chance to start over. I don't know.
No, someone cursed him. I know that they cursed him. Okay. They tried, but instead of cursing him, like they just made him little. Like.
Yeah. Okay. Now I can live forever and just beast forever. But yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like about Dragon Ball Z, and that I love about Dragon Ball. That as a self-contained thing, it really feels like it has a beginning and the end. Whereas Dragon Ball Z feels like it can go forever and just keep adding, just add another stronger, more like this is the most powerful person in the universe.
Yeah, and it's because they did it kind of good in the very beginning, like for Dragon Ball Z. I liked it. Yeah. Where they had like Frieza and his arm and his men. Yeah. His army.
And it was Vegeta first. Vegeta and
Right. But and then we learned that they're just part of Frieza's army.
Exactly.
Which is what I liked. Like it reminded me somewhat of it wasn't exactly like the Red Ribbon Army, but it was like, oh, okay, that's gonna be who they're gonna, and that like Frieza's gonna be the person they finished the series with. Yeah. And no, it wasn't. And then they kept going. They kept going, which wasn't a bad thing. I love the show still, but I was just like, I did like, I guess that feel of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it has a good epic feel to it of just self-contained. Containment, that to me is the only thing I don't like about Dragon Ball Z, but it's still a great show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And to see other comic book heroes like Batman, for example, the power of Penguin doesn't take away from the power of Joker. The power of Joker, exactly. They're different styles, I guess, of a villain, but
that's what comic books do different than.
Yeah. Well, but Dragon Ball was originally a comic too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But that's what they like. That was very different. Like the enemies, the villains weren't just made irrelevant. I mean, sometimes they were, but they would always come back.
Yeah, sometimes they were, but I mean, like one villain from another isn't exactly. Obviously, the Joker is the main villain in Batman, but Riddler and
Penguin, he's his arch nemesis. Everyone else is kind of like a villain. Like,
they're all have their different stuff that makes them powerful in a different way, and in Dragon Ball Z, it's just like this guy's just like more powerful. It's like way more powerful.
This guy, and it always seems like they come out of nowhere too.
Yeah, like I thought you said this guy was the most powerful guy in the universe. Now is this dude? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck's going on?
There was a story I'm really liking, just like I guess indie stuff, crowdfunded stuff. Banjo-Kazooie, never played it myself because I never had to see or I played it, but never got to experience the whole thing. I never had a 64 to play it on.
Yeah.
I did love Conker's Bad Fur Day,
which is in the same vein of that.
Yes, but that was easy to play without having to experience the whole game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a new game coming out called Yooka-Laylee, which is 2 different names.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Two different characters.
2 different characters, yes.
Just like Banjo and Kazooie.
Which I like. I mean, they're both instruments.
Yeah.
Based off instruments. This one's one instrument made into 2 names.
Yeah.
And it's by Playtonics. It's made up of some of the people
from Rare.
Some of the people from Rare, not
who were the
all
original creators of Banjo-Kazooie. So you should be getting like a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, which was what people have wanted for fucking.
They just want Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Yeah, because you know the new one that was like nuts and bolts on Xbox 360 wasn't the same.
No.
It wasn't, and
everyone complained about it.
Yeah, people complain, right? Yeah, but
I think they even knew.
Yeah, they knew because it was funny. We were watching a report on it, and one of the persons who was interviewing had talked to one of the developers who was on Rare, and that they were working it's like, so what have you been working on Rare? Like, why'd you leave? And he's like, yeah, I was working on Connect Sports Rivals.
I was working on the kicks.
Yeah.
The kicks of the players.
Yeah, and then I would send those assets off to blah, blah, blah. It was just like a dead inside, like no passion for anything. Yeah. For fucking Connect Sports Rivals.
Right. And I don't know if he's the one, I don't know if he might be the one that designed the characters. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, okay. He designed the characters of the game.
Which was a chameleon or a lizard and a bat.
Yeah.
And they look amazing just working together.
They have a cool. It feels like Banjo-Kazooie. It really does. It literally is Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah. They just changed the character.
They just couldn't use the character.
Yeah, because it's copyrighted, owned by Microsoft probably. But the interesting thing to me was, when we were listening to the interview, was they're like, yeah, this is kind of like the 64-bit era platformers. And it's like
3D, the golden age of 3D platforming.
Yeah, and it made me think I think that could work, and I think they can have a resurgence, kind of the way of like the 2D platformers the past 5 years have come back.
Shovel Knight,
huge
success. I love the game. Bought it on my 3DS. Recently bought it on the Xbox One because they have the Battletoads level, which is really cool. Sorry, this is off whatever, but. For PS4, they have Kratos.
Yeah.
But it's just the boss battle.
You have Kratos as a boss battle?
Yes, but it's just like you'll find them randomly, like kind of like what was it, Super Mario, where you have to I forgot the name. Like where the clouds would move, there would be shits. I forgot which one it is. But it's very similar in that move. Like you move across kind of like a board game. Looks like to get to and then you click the level and you go in. And this one was
those are like Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World.
Right, yeah. So in this one, like sometimes you'll find there's some internet characters that you'll see, I think his name the Baz.
Yeah.
And you'll just find him, he'll be wandering the map, moving around and moving to different levels, and if you bump into him, you do a boss battle. But Battletoads have their own whole level.
Okay.
Like you do the tunnel drive, which I never did on the original Battletoads, but I always hear people rage.
It was so hard.
Yeah, it was so hard. So you got to do that, and then at the end you fight the Battletoads.
That's awesome. Shovel Knight. So 2D platformers.
Yes, and then
have made a comeback.
Yes, this one 45 days reached $1.3 million.
Yeah, on Kickstarter, and this is the fastest that any game has reached 1 million.
Yeah, I remember when Mighty Number 9, which is the spiritual successor to Mega Man, was doing amazing too, and that's set to come out sometime this year.
Yeah, I think summer, if I'm not mistaken, late summer. Mighty Number 9, which he's really excited about. He loves Mega Man.
Yeah.
But with the 3D platforming, those games have really kind of disappeared during the 64. Yeah, during the 64-bit era, you had Dreams of it's on the Sega Saturn.
Oh.
7 Nights of Dreams or something like that. Spyro, Mario 64, Conquer. Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
So like there is a real golden era of 3D platformers. Donkey Kong.
PlayStation's mask. Oh my God.
Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, he was PlayStation's mascot for a little bit. Yeah. He disappeared off the map too.
Unfortunately. Hopefully he can make a comeback.
Yeah. So there was a good era, and those games just completely just disappeared off the map. Like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, you literally they got taken over by action adventure games
like the God of War style,
hack and slash,
Batman, and all those type of games took over that kind of 3D platform because those are kind of platformers in their own right.
Right. Yes.
But I would like to see a resurgence of this style because I love Mario 64.
Yeah, they're almost the same games, hack and slash games and platform, like 3D platformer. They're almost exactly the same except the way you play. Yeah. And then even the boss battles are like you find this thing you need to do and that's how you kill it. Yeah. And I love that. Like 3D bosses are the best.
Yeah, and then I guess the only difference is that the platformers literally concentrate on the jumping aspect, whereas the action games just on the hack and slash, that's what they focus on. Yeah, and then since obviously people want it, there's a lot of hype. They've $1.3 million, so people want to play it.
That's a shitload of hype.
So if they bring it back, I'm gonna be a happy guy because that's when I was a kid. That's when the 64 was out, and I was playing Mario 64 every fucking day.
Yeah, and I love those kind of games, and I didn't even have a 64.
Yeah.
I would watch I remember one of my cousins
before Twitch. You're just in the background watching.
I wasn't even invited to their house. I would just watch through their window, No, but I only knew one cousin, and I had a few friends that had it, but they didn't live close to me. Yeah. So the only person I saw play was my cousin, and they're not gonna let you play.
Motherfuckers. What kind of cousins are these? Yeah. So I mean, they should. They're gonna do good with it because it looks good already. It's only in the testing stages. It's not like they're not even close to being done. But now that they raised the money, they're definitely gonna be able to finish the game.
Hopefully,
well, we'll see. But I mean, obviously, some people who they're already been in a development team. There's more likely that they'll finish. Right. Than just somebody who's never done it before. Right. That feels it's bad to say about people who haven't done it before, but
or even just people that have less amount of people. Some of them one person from a development team, that worked on the game will move and be like, I need to hire people. I need people to work with me. Yeah. And they'll be really the only person with experience.
Yeah. So I'll if you like those type of games, I would donate money.
Yes.
I'm donating money because I want to play it.
Yes, I probably will donate money. I donated money.
You ain't donating shit.
No, I donated to Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
I did it. If I would have known about Shovel Knight earlier, I would have donated because by the time I found out about it, the window had already closed. Yeah. But those kind of things are
well, you bought the game. So
I bought the game, so I guess that's kind of donating. Yeah. But yeah, so
purchasing.
I
mean, you're supporting.
I'm supporting them, and I bought it twice. So
yeah,
I'll buy it again if I need to.
Jesus, you were.
No, because I hear they might have a special something for the GameCube, the Wii U.
The GameCube is the go-to.
So they might have a special level, maybe even boss battle.
Yeah.
Which if they have a level, I'm 100% buying it. If it's just a boss battle, I'll consider it a little bit less.
Who would it have to be? Which boss would it have to be for you?
It'd be awesome if you can fight, if they recreated a Bowser's Castle and at the end you fight Bowser.
Okay, yeah, that would be sick. Right? That's an automatic buy.
Right? Yeah, even if it's just a Bowser fight, maybe. But if it was an actual level similar to what they did with Battletoads, 100% I buy it again.
I wonder how much money Nintendo would get off of that. How much licensing money do they charge for that?
Right. That's true. Because granted, Battletoad isn't the biggest name. Yeah. Maybe it would have to be someone a little bit less known in the Nintendo franchise. Yeah,
and then Battletoads isn't exclusive either, so it's kind of just a freelance.
Yeah, which is weird that it's only on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I don't know. Maybe they have become exclusive, but it's not like they haven't released a game in 20 years. Right. So who knows? But yeah, last story of the week is Batman Arkham Knight, which is coming out in 2 months or less than 2 months now.
And if you were, was the last one not the last one wasn't received too well, was it?
it's just people crying about stuff. I mean, Arkham Origins wasn't as good as the other two, but it was still okay. You know what it was? It's just that it didn't push the series forward. It just kept the same, stuff and just didn't do anything new. And of course, everybody's like, oh god, it's the same fucking game.
Hopefully, lucky for them, Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady
is coming back, or not coming back. They're just working on it again.
Yeah. Well, I guess not they coming back. Yeah, they've been working on the game, and so they had another development team to create
the
Origins.
Whole Call of Duty.
Yeah, model. The yearly model.
But they're having a pretty pricey DLC, which a lot of games have. They're always pricey now.
Yeah.
They're trying to get
$40 for a DLC.
Which
Season pass.
Oh, season pass DLC, so it's everything.
Yeah.
For the season pass, but a lot of the games have been just marketing the season pass, I think too early, just a little bit too early.
It hurts to hear this because, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about this whole DLC stuff and how it's bad for consumers, and I agree in general, but to me it's always like, if you don't want it, don't buy it. Mm-hmm. But it does hurt to hear okay, you're going to get new story missions. So this is what you're going to get. Some of the stuff that we heard,
Batgirl as a playable character in her own story,
in her own prequel story,
which according to the article I read, it was one mission.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but I doubt it's just one mission.
No, I doubt it's just one mission. Mm-hmm. It's who knows? But I doubt it's just one mission. But it's a prequel to Arkham Knight,
right? And
it's the first time that Batgirl has ever showed up in the Arkham games, in the Arkham series games. Mm-hmm. So it's a big deal. She looked sexy. That's a big deal.
Have you seen her in Injustice? She's sick.
She's sick everywhere. Batgirl's sick everywhere. And then you're also gonna get a racing game.
Well, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get some Batman more story.
Yeah.
You're gonna get Batman's allies, some stories with them. You're gonna be playing as them, I'm assuming, and then go through a story.
Yeah.
And then the interesting one was that you're gonna get pretty much what was it? It was you're gonna get every single car or all the main the big cars from the 75 years or whatever they said.
Yeah.
Of Batman.
Yeah, so they're
gonna have their own track.
Yeah, so they're the Batmobiles, the different styles
right,
that you've seen in the old cartoons or the ones that you saw. And I would love to play the 60s version car that's really cheesy,
right,
and it had a parachute to stop because it was going so fast.
Right.
So you're gonna get all those. I guess there are different cars,
and they get their own themed track.
Yeah, and so there's gonna be some sort of racing game,
which I don't know. I couldn't find anything else on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they said you could play on the track, so I'm like, that means racing,
right? Yeah, and they said racing. They used that word racing. So. Is there going to be a racing game built into the game, or is it only a DLC? And with the DLC, you'll get the extra cars. But is there a racing game, or isn't there? It's all those little details are important because $40 is 80% of the full price, 70% of the full price. You're paying them almost for another fucking game.
Yeah, what is the Mortal Kombat? Isn't that $40 also?
Yeah, for the DLC.
Or was it $20 for the
No, it was
$30.
Pack? No, it's $30 for the combat pack.
Okay.
But it's significant, and that was only 4 fucking characters, which they're good, nice characters. But then if you want to buy Goro too, is a separate thing unless you pre-ordered it. Them. So and dude, they're probably gonna come out with more characters.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of games have come out, especially they come out with characters.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct being a big example because you had 8 characters. Not all of them were released, and then they started releasing season 2 with more characters.
Yeah.
For I think $5 if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on the pricing.
Yeah.
But they're literally the game wasn't. They didn't finish. They didn't put all the characters they wanted in, or maybe not all the characters they wanted, but they put very few characters and have been adding more throughout the game's life.
But the good thing about that game is that game is free.
Yes.
So you can play the full game with their one fucking character, but you can play it.
Which is monthly.
Yeah.
Or weekly, I believe.
And so the whole thing is that model makes sense. I'm said, yeah, and I don't really care about DLCs as far as if I want it, I'll buy it.
Right.
But when you hear all these details, it makes you think are these on disc? Because the ones that really hurt are the ones that are on disc, like Destiny. Like those are the ones where you're like, come on, man. Like if it's on the disc, give it to me already.
Right.
You know, I understand you need to make more money, but at some point it feels like you're just taking stuff out of the game, right? And having, I don't know, like I feel like these things are probably done already, like the Batgirl, or they're maybe half done. Some of them have to be done already.
And I'm sure people were fine about the Last of Us DLC.
Yeah.
What was left behind.
See, yeah, that made a lot of sense because it came out a long time afterwards.
Right. And they didn't market it as a season pass.
Yeah.
BioShock did a season pass, which I bought. And I liked what I got, except for one of them.
Yeah.
You got 3. But, I mean, a lot of them just, like, the DLC needs to be worth it, I guess. At the same time, like, we talked about it before, like, how the price of games hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
And is that hurting them?
Yeah, because...
Is that why they're looking for... Is that why they're so desperate to find extra ways to get money?
I definitely think that's part of it because, like... 10 years ago, it probably took half the amount of people to make the games that it takes now. Because now you need so many more graphic artists, so many more engineers. Every game has to have some online component, so you got to test the online, create the netcode, test it. Like I understand that it takes more. I would almost say, like, just charge me $70 for the game.
Really?
Like, but
a lot of people are gonna be mad.
Yeah, but then like the thing is, you can't trust them to know that they're putting everything that they can in the game.
Yeah, because they might get lazy.
Yeah, like they might say, okay, we're gonna raise the price to $70,
but now we're gonna make a $40 game.
Yeah, like or they'll give you the same game they were giving you at $60, and just not even fucking adding the extra shit that could be in there. It's a shitstorm. But the thing is,
buy the DLC if you want it. Don't if you don't.
Like, I want to play as Batgirl. I want to see the rest of the story.
I bought the Batgirl and Scorpion DLC for Injustice. Sue me. Like,
yeah, like, oh yeah, you're against the cause, man. What the fuck? No,
and then I talk shit about other DLC.
Well, the thing is that the pricing too is what bothers me, because the thing is that what they always do with these, you saw this a lot on Evolve too, where you'll get the season pass, and the season pass will come with like multiplayer shit that you don't care about, extra skins. I think
Assassin's Creed started doing that, where they had a lot of multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, and like in games like that, especially like Tomb Raider did the same thing. It's like, who plays multiplayer on Tomb Raider? Like maybe 10 people like on Earth play that.
Whoa.
Like, so like you buy the season pass or whatever, and then it comes with all these extra skins for your multiplayer. Like who cares? Like who doesn't
And then
matter.
You go out and buy like not you, but like these people will go out and buy like a skin for their COD gun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. See, in those games it makes sense to me because you play online. That's what the game's for.
Okay.
Whereas Tomb Raider, I guess if you play online it makes sense. But what I'm saying is the majority of people don't play online, and the season pass includes these things, which hikes up the price. Whereas at the very least they should have different like variations, packages. Yeah, like,
well, instead of buying the season pass, you can buy them individually too.
Yeah, but they're more expensive that way.
That's true.
So like they need it.
Do you want to save money on all of it, or do you want to spend more on each one?
Yeah, but like at the very least, do this for me, Rocksteady. Give me a package that's just
let me buy
story mode. Just give me a story mode pack. You know, if you're gonna have 3 different extra stories going on, and they're each $10, let me get them for $25. Right? Instead of charging me $40 for the extra skins.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there's extra skins, I forgot.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is like maybe that's the solution. At least give us an extra little opportunity to buy just what we want, instead of having to buy all this other stuff that we don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But
or you just not buy it and don't fall into their trap.
Fight the power.
Which, yeah, I'm sorry, if something comes out cool, like if I could play as Mega Man and Batman, I'm buying it. You know, like
yeah, Corey. That's what I'm saying. It's just like
like you could be there's always like you're gonna like go against this thing, but like, are you gonna go against it if it has?
Yeah.
Like, what if it has this?
It has your specific whatever you like. What?
I'm sorry.
Master Chief in Street Fighter? Oh, $80? Okay. I'll do it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get into the like, oh, fuck DLC. Like, I understand why they need it, and I don't really care, but sometimes it does feel that they take stuff out of the game just
Destiny.
yeah, Destiny is the number one culprit. So
Destiny needs a prequel.
Dude, Destiny, we read this too, and I was like, Destiny Part 2 should not be Part 2, it should be the prequel. And that would be an amazing
where we
story.
Explore, maybe...
Where we see the actual war.
Dude, like, because you know, right now in Destiny... Sorry, this is, way off, whatever. But in Destiny right now, the darkness has succumbed us, kind of, and pushed us back. Well, if it was a prequel, we can be at fucking Pluto.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we expanded that far and then got pushed back.
Yeah, so you can see the whole war of how things happen instead of just starting after the fall and then, you know, not knowing anything that's going on. But of course...
being so super curious.
See, but I'm not even going to say that necessarily about... Well, that's why Destiny is bad, because...
It's not.
Because the thing is, they could have made a good story out of what they had. They just didn't do it. You know, it's not so much the setting that it was after the fall, after the war, and more the darkness took over. It's just they didn't execute it. So, who's to say that they would execute the prequel? You know, unless they really. Well, we'll see what the House of Wolves comes out next month.
Yeah, which I'm excited for. Just the trailer, but at the same time, it's like. Is it gonna be just the Dark Below? Like...
It is. It is. Don't worry. It is. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this week's podcast. Next week we will live stream for
nothing happens.
For sure.
Nothing happens.
For sure. Next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday, we'll be on Twitch. Links are below. We'll post a video on that day too, so you can remember.
Yeah. So that's why follow us on Twitter and we'll.
Yeah, and then we'll also we'll probably play Smash Brothers and some Mario Kart after the podcast. If you want to just chill, watch, we'll talk in the chat. We wanted to watch a game movie together, have a little like Netflix, GOP flicks night. No, get some popcorn and watch, talk on the chat. Join us.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah, join us next week.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us. Peace.